All right, I'm gonna go over how I use the BrowSense, so the new BrowSense Brow Gel. So I use it a little bit differently than everybody else. And so what I love about it is that you can do whatever works best for your brows. So it works best for my brows to have nothing on my brows and wipe off the wand because I really don't want a ton of product. So I kind of wipe it clean, all the edges, and I'm gonna use the brow gel first, then my SeneGence color, and then my brow gel. So I kind of sandwich the SeneGence in between. So you can kind of see what you want to do. Most people have been doing it just only after, but I don't really have, I'm still working on my brow hair growing it in. I had really thin brows. And so I like doing this because even you can see the difference already. It gives my brows that shape. And so it helps me when I'm filling them in. So I just kind of brush them up. And that way I can see that line underneath when I'm like essentially drawing them on. So I'm gonna use rustic brown today. Sometimes I use smoked topaz, sometimes I use mocha java. I can use French roast. There's lots of different shadows that you can use for your brows. We also have BrowSense that you can use, which is more of a liquid brow color. I like to use the SeneGence. So my rustic brown's almost gone. You can do it straight on the wand, but I want to make sure that I'm not getting a ton of color because now that I'm actually growing my brows in, I don't need as much color. So I'm just going to put a little bit on a palette. You can use the lid of a foundation or a daytime moisturizer, and I am going to just fill them in. So I have this is a 763 shadow brush or brow brush. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go right here and I'm going to draw these little hairs right there. Okay, look how natural that is. So I go in with that first part and I'm just gonna do one brow for you guys and I do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm gonna go underneath and kind of draw this part in, and that's why I like to brush them up because it helps me see where that line is. So obviously I'm not going to keep that harsh line, but I'm going to kind of now pull up the color. And I'm pulling it up. And that's kind of why I like to go in at the end with the brow gel because it really does kind of blend it all together. So now I go in on its side, kind of brush them up. What I like to do is I actually like to I have a spoolie and scissors, and I like to cut the tops of my brow hair so that it's all even. And that's just totally personal preference. And then the tail, I kind of go down. I don't really want that like really floofy, but just a little bit. And now I want to make sure the top gets even because like I said, I'm growing in my brow hair, so I don't quite have hair everywhere yet. So I'm almost kind of just stamping it on. Making sure that's even, go to my arch. Just kind of pulling that hair up. All right, that's how I do it. Then I go in with the brow gel at the very end and scrape it off. This is brand new bottle, so that's why. A little bit goes a long ways. This tube will last you so long. All right, so then I can go through. I kind of like to let it sit and dry as long as I can, just so that way I'm not pulling any of the color up with it. But this just kind of gives it a good blend. And what it's gonna do, this has Capixyl in it, so it's gonna grow your brows as you're wearing it. And it's going to give your brows just that fuller look. And this is the trend right now. Like this is kind of like laminating your brows. It's the trend to kind of floof them up, make them as full as possible, no more pencil thin brows, and it really just makes your brows stay. So sandwiching in between has even like made this shadow color last even longer.